Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry, I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up this shame.
Gary! What's got... Later, Morale!
No, you've got explaining to do.
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And so I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't. Only the cuirass was left. So I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake.
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter any...
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you...
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. CLI officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
They were thoroughly conservative men. It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not... He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes...
I always thought it was the Union. Some Union hardasses lynched him because of the strike.
This is all he knows.
Because I was weak. I should have...
The hell, Gary?
I'll explain later. Yes, absolutely.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Khan Hailostam. You must be Kim Kisaragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks. Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall. No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why? Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Feld Electrical. And Feld, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn of the...
Hold on. What's R&D? It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of...
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore. You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and they started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He assumes something like a combat stance, faced...
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer the...
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history? Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Tape computers. They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars. What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created commune of Revachol on the 7th of...
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention. Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Humpty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions.
Wait, did he just say he did it? He said, Humpty Dumpty. What the hell is a Humpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Joost?
The Humpty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to... In fact, I'm not. The Humpty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07. Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report... Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building. But of course, what else? I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important.
He's not gonna give you money. What are you... No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Of course, Detective. I wouldn't have assumed anything else. Matter of fact, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper on the criminal profile. If not, then you definitely should. If not for tips and tricks, then just for theoretical curiosity. Anyway, that's just a little something that sprang to mind. You were saying? No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your...
Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather one-sided. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years. Dripping water falls from a high place. There's rust and corrosion on the bars.
No, I won't even try. You know, I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things.
This partner of his, Eyes, things didn't end well. It saddens him to say his name. Don't even ask.
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out.
please tell me you're not taking that with you. It's a guano-encrusted jacket, and you're already...
The smell. It's awful and familiar. Don't be naive. Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly something cold wakes in the pit of you. It is death. It must be. The lieutenant has all...
Eyes up, detective.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. Two empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can.
A tragedy.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness. Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name Red Astra is the black market version of Astra. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato. It's no older than a day. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need...
Another dead body. This calm now. Carefully. Just another day. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab. The leather jacket suits him well. A cool leather jacket with a bolt of blue? Oh no. This sounds terribly familiar. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into two.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated a bad fall. It might have been dark outside. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of height, 170 to 170. He was confused when he died. Confused and alone, most likely. Overcome with... There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him. A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing.
Tear all around us. I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time.
True. It feels disrespectful. Rabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The blackness of death.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol. I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum.
In a ditch off a road below the entire boardwalk.
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't. But that's just a lazy assumption.
A dead working-class man with a bottle in his hand? Don't deceive yourself. You know who this is.
The woman you met at the book stand? Why do you think it's her husband?
Because it's the most working-class death you've ever seen.
The bright blue lining? Well, he's definitely someone's husband. Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple...
Agreed. If this somehow converges later...
Oh, yes. Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role, but I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure. What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean. It does seem to be a pretty straight. From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleague. A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear. I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing will take care of the rest. Alright, we should first examine the library.
There's some tear, an empty... A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screw. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling... There is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean.
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
Maybe we should circle the building first and look for another way.
There is a touch of guilt.
Can you hear the pulsing bass underneath the wind? A sure sign of junior delinquency. So
There's something on the sea ice there. Nothing happened.
I don't think that's going to work.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height. Step your hands up. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set. The reeds sway in the coast. The wind picks up here, near the cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land. From locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused by...
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense, just...
Nothing's... worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door...
It's military. A service depot. The washerwoman mentioned a depot at the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it.
A pane of Eternite has been planted in, barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. A stronger gust of...
It looks like a makeshift bridge. Could be convenient.
The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk.
We should ask that girl on the ice what's going on here.
The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men, all in...
Come on! Get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
It's safe to assume this is their leader. Or at least he...
Sorry, you barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm too old for...
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the two...
Hello, I'm Andre.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair. Aggressively so. You get the sense that this is what the future would... Imbecilic. Yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic. Like his grip is strong, sweaty, and warm.
This is my posse. Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg! Together with a Cell Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers. We have many in the pipeline office.
That means they haven't set up a...
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new...
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jam...
Places are shit.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues. Yeah, it's a matter of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomancy.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face.
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads! Burnouts!
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock.
Strike that!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts holed up in there were the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze. Letting you good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
Yes, yes. And the worst part is, they're also spooky. I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre. And a place also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit, people just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can... Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not... All right, man.
Andre's obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchanged giddy looks.
Yes, I asked Noy to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix. I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while. Of course. All right.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object, ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly. The young man with ribcage-shaped suspenders looks at you, feels nice. It would feel a whole lot less nice had you dropped them. Or worse, got hit in the eye with them. Good thing that didn't happen.
Not long. Like a week, maybe? I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on.
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here, there was something called exams. You may have learned the term involuntary manslaughter there.
Yes, I do. I listen to Channel 8 all the time. I know about crime stuff, and I assure you, officer, this is not what's happening here. I'm at least 80% sure they're alive. I mean, come on. Most people aren't ever that alive, and I don't know. What does it...
Oh, yeah.
I knew you'd get it.
It feels good to be the smart cop, doesn't it? That's a good cop to be. Has a nice ring to it. Smart cop. You wouldn't want to be stupid cop, now would you? He nods attentively, ready.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses. Well, there's also the machine.
This machinery is of the...
When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water.
Andre!
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us. Watching...
No!
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as you are.
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone, or something, eyeing us inside. Like you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human.
Not human. As it...
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling. Like some kind... Yeah, you know. The way it was climbing...
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Odd. Crabs are usually marine creatures and not known for climbing walls.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her.
You should ask her about it, but be nice.
There probably is no crab man.
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably, very likely. Well, honestly, I can't.
This is a below-feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
Hey now, I'm 70% sure. Don't let all that technology fool you. Sure. What? Oh yeah, that's a meteor name for the founding party.
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery.
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know? I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organisation. And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericanassian Church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the Innocentic system, no? Totally.
The Pericanassian Church is about love, and Nordic music is about love. I got love for my Pericanassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We dance. Love is hardcore.
Unity. Unity.
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base, as if testing the waters. Feels good.
Oh yeah, he's coming around. You're getting it.
Yeah! Yeah!
He seems ecstatic that you share his vision.
Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you.
The one with the large head is still looking. You feel like you could go for a little disco when...
Yes. What? Yeah, good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. Oh, it's the one they sell at the fuel.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's... He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
As always.
Wumpty Dumpty. A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harmon Welsh as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous event.
Hardcore! It's hardcore!
Skibber danger.
Your cop training did not prepare you. Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking pulp? The young man.
This is hardcore. Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega. Internally coherent.
All core! All right! Yeah!
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces.
Hardcore! Ah!
Is it though? But is it? I mean, really?
Feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here, so that things get totally transcendent. But you haven't gotten there yet. So
I am the Mike Enforcer. I am... Back to the head. Hardcore! Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega! Internally coherent. Good morning, yeah! 1, 2, 3! Yeko Kata, the place to be! Yeko Kata is a...
Yeko Kata is an abbreviation from the Gradian term, Zone of Ecological Catastrophe, an intricate system of irrigation networks pockmarking the Earth, intermittent seas.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading. Yeah, gotta compare. See if we can align. I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. But I'll see what I can do. A sticker? You mean the yellow one?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Good, good. What did you want to know? Yes, you're the 23rd person to get it right, and I've asked 23 people. Looks like it's a dead guy smiling to the entire human race. We're all the same. Same eyes, same... He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are the present moment and life, or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats. It should be sold, but not by us. Simplicity was brought to us by a classical soul artist modernist. Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing. Not alone. Many people have... Oh, I guess one could write an entire... Nah. You heard me. Weird stuff. Specialised. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked up Samaran science sign. Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched.
The sickest. That's perhaps why it should be researched.
Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases. The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed.
It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without some adjustment.
Yes, further sign matching would do good for us. One way to achieve this would be by
A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels on the...
Oh. Hello there.
She must be a cell. It's cold out here, but she's not wearing a hat. She must be freezing.
Huh? So should you. I don't know, some kind of a...
What did she just say? That's not how a civilian is supposed to address an officer of the law. down at the white ceramic sabatons, hugging your arches and calves, surprised at how well they fit. The hardened vitreous enamel, at once sleek and light, adds a glow to your cheeks and a spring to your step. Just imagine what a full suit of this stuff could do for you. It may be a while before you have all the pieces. In the meantime, you should remember this is a highly specialized kinetic redistributor meant to stop bullets. Wear it for the day you have to fight someone. A shaggy-looking girl in.
Oh.
She must. It's cold out here, but she's not wearing a hat. She must be freezing. A shaggy.
Oh.
She must. It's cold out here, but she's not.
That's my name. I take it you have met the others. Did they tell you? Will you help us? Great. Let us know if... Huh? So should you. I don't know.
What did she just say? That's not how a civilian is supposed to address an officer of the law. Your eyes are fixed on her as everything gets very still. She looks down. The kid isn't arrogant. She's just afraid to look you in the eye. You already put her in her place.
You're right. I shouldn't have sworn. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in me telling you.
She's less prone to blurt it out. Crab man.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother. You know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say. And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab. Down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know he was... He stopped right before he got to the floor. Then just hung there like that, looking at me.
Like a crab, you say?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell it.
Come on. She obviously could. She already went into detail.
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top.
A crab and a banger?
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw. Why? I guess so. Anyway, what else? My associates. I haven't got much to say about them. Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and...
To the cops.
Me? I'm a silver bird. Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but... This is a portable recording device. It's for field record. Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone. A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this ice.
Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike. No, you're welcome.
Yeah, I record stuff with it. No. This is a contact microphone. It's for recording inside solid objects. Contact mic just beats people up. The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up structure-borne sound.
An entire litany spews forth.
Man, you are one weird cop. You do understand it all just sounds like Mike to me, right? Same place I got the recorder from, the Elysium. Oh man, you haven't been to the Elysium? It's the coolest place. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck.
Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here, though.
Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Elysium going kind of person. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. That's cool. Sucks, man. Was there something else? About the contact mic, perhaps? Okay. Recording, I guess. I think I'm recording cracks in the ice, but there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps too. Not sure how that will sound. My boyfriend sold them. I don't know, man. Things.
A lie. They were probably pawned off.
The musicians in the Elysium used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks in the ice and keys jangling. Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, a music place. I don't really know what I'm doing. They use
She looks at the recording device. The thing she thought would fill her hours with joy and escape. It's turning...
Take this, your code.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool.
It's okay.
Yeah, maybe you were right about the hat. Yeah, the boys think it could be a place, like the Elysium or something. Stupid. It's really not gonna be a Elysium, that's for sure. Yeah, Andre and the guys, inside the tent.
And why is that?
They got too much stuff crammed in there. No room. Didn't you see it yourself? It's mostly music stuff, like this tape recorder, but bigger. Yep, they were pretty. I'm sorry we sold those. That stuff is more expensive than I am. More expensive than any of us, really. Doesn't matter. I can take the cold. Go ahead. It's supposed to become, like, a club for Nordic dance music. Like, except that... yeah. You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments. Synthesizers and tape consoles. Microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity.
You see clear, beautiful, violent flashes of light. Light cutting through a smoke-filled dark. This is an evolutionary step up from amplified instruments, which in turn are a step up from acoustic instruments. What comes after it, you wonder? A black-tinted...
Go ahead. Okay.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound. It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it? It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather, why? Why did you think about it? Look at your hands. They're covered in muck. Now you're just flicking. As you hold it in your hands, there is no... The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the top. Billy is a unisex name. Could be that whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio. Most of these titles. If lost, please return the card to the library.
Good. We should give them a call from my...
Hello again.
The device.
Hello again.
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands. She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup. The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her.
What is? I can't believe this turned into another mic thing. Fine. Okay, I'll stick to it. I'll knock it out in 3 rounds.
There is little you can do to help her now. But given the chance, you feel like you...
So thanks, I guess, for the psych session. Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer? Come on, I can tell. But, okay. Be a boyadero about it if you want to. What is it? Oh, really? So, the thing that's been eating you is the slow pace of social progress? Okay. So you're not that upset, it sounds like. Uh-huh. And you're sure it's social progress you're distressed about?
Perhaps.
Okay. Why'd you think that? There you have it then, chick trouble. Not political after all. Who was she? Really? You seem to be pretty upset about this chica. Are you sure you don't remember anything about her? Wow, man. That's some pretty strange shit. Are you sure the letters were for you? How come you don't remember, though? Is it like some selective memory thing? Yeah, or it might be that. This one time I did so much...
It's obvious she's done.
Or it might just be some psych bullshit, you know? Königstein wank. You know, the psych thing they've got going on there. Rich people like it. People in Königstein are mostly rich. You're welcome. Might be for the best to keep that shit forgotten, though. Just my opinion. If it itches, don't scratch.
The library card. Billy is a... Most of these types...
Good. We should...
Heavy wooden doors. The locked.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of... in the heart of... The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be, and then it's gone. Almost all of it. You can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more. Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then...
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering trick.
His detached tone conceals how. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises. He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. The silence. Relax. It'll be okay. Just darkness without end. It makes your head spin. Filled with vague shapes of woodwork, the sense of a great height. There's nothing. You're dizzy and disoriented as you see dark and more dark.
Officer, what are you looking at?
You see something hanging from the rafters. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the building came alive. And the crab man. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady...
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in Jamrock. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesks in Revachol.
I'm here to receive the mother's love. You can too, Holmes. And when you're ready, she will take your hand.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence, and you don't even know it. Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all that.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking of. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. That's not really the point, I said.
Do you remember your...
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's not quite right, but you're getting somewhere. Any one of us could have been anything. We are all one who sing the mothers. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there, a way out into nothingness. This church was built around it. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly. Oh, that's no simple question, I said. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will. I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about it.
It's not like that at all, man. It's
too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
I heard that before, Way, and I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from...
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out. I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking.
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I don't mean literal singing. You may be thinking, but fire, hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh?
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams.
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them, guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me. Nah, man. They look pretty funny, and I don't harm no one anymore. Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there. It might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita.
Viejita is Grandma?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. That's what I said, Holmes. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back.
Or search through her radio computer. A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stage.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
A quaint little box of... You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine. Nothing happens. The speaker comes to life.
Good afternoon. Votre accident on Saint-Brune. This...
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the...
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? Please end the call and do that. I have 2 machines registered to this company name.
Saint-Brune. That's the church. And Rue de Saint-Guylaine? That's the doomed...
Anything else I can... Good.
The machine's keyboard is behind the hatch. Sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. The speaker comes.
Good afternoon. Votre accident. Good. Please.
Let's look around. Maybe he knows something.
Receive votre accident. It's good.
The machine's keyboard is still... In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall. This is her innocence. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snow drifts as if under a microscope. The woman looks down at you standing there. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. She acknowledges you. As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant, your fingertips touch your chest 4 times as...
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Setsa, they call them, the 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching.
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of the... There it is again. A small pang of guilt. It's time to ask him what happened here.
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many... Well, your station was involved, I hear.
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters. Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Mat. Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
The woman looks by in silence, smiling.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
The mother of humanism stands above you. It's a mystery. The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and complex. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps no amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men. The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit. More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor, and no, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi, she is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel, and the connected many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor, draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, the past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should know. You must know. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over. It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered, wow indeed, when her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even far away Supramuindi, altogether 21 of the 40 mundial nations of the time, immediately accepted Innocentic rule, even before her crowning. In a city called Advesperaskit in Vespa Messina, her homeland, the name of the city means evening comes, but it happened on a winter's morning, with the canals frozen and slush falling out of. She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about an assassination attempt. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Theriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was one of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was not entirely human, but something else. Something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria. Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged. Terrifying. It's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her. You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the Innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal. For the campaign, the Mesk state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military, suggesting those who fight against it are not. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, this subtle terror is part...
Lieutenant Yefrater, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? That she is. A great sacred piece. I wonder what we are doing here. In this church, I mean. The coast in general. We shouldn't linger. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
The mother of humanism stands above you. A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you. A ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one. And a text, a light motif below them both. Unknown. Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned. Or just hooligans looking for something to break. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen Her Innocence Day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, Theriers, stand in a row guard. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then, along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, after life. Death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, on human thinking. A tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death.
Death, life again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing. Justice, union, prudence, and force. So do I.
The mother of humanism.
Oh, hey, Wade. There's coffee in the back. Too many times essay.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity. I think we're done here, Ese.
That was, however, I'm still not sure how it...
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. The speaker.
Good afternoon, Votre. Good. Please read. Good. I have unlocked the filament. Votre accident. Is there anything? Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard. The printer prints out a long text document with dated. The first entry, made on the 4th of February, arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while. Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's 7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new...
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna. Had some problems setting it up. Called Simon for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. Artists, yet again. Harassing citizens, stealing badges, occupying public spaces. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible.
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. I think these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see
the strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in to disappoint.
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the
pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out, fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good.
A girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. thinks I'm part of some kind of curse. How much?
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with the machine.
March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door open. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
Well, you won't find any music venue organizers here. It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted.
What is it? Yes. Or no. Not anymore. That project is dead.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back.
I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you. No? Yes. And? I don't care. I don't care about crap men. I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. I use the AR-1 as my RAIM Prefect's processing unit. RAIM Prefect, my radio computer. Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? All right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna. I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market, so I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians. Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieux dedicated to that sort of thing.
She liked telling me this. It calmed her nerves.
I'm working. Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the...
It's not just rudeness. It really is hard to concentrate on whatever she needs to do. And you're not helping.
They are connected to my RAIM Prefect. Whatever you do, just...
Short and terse.
Great. You really like those questions, don't you? I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out. I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the...
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what the lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that. Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure?
That's a little above your pay grade at the moment.
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I figure it out? You measure it by its surroundings, by that which does exist, which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence. But honestly, it's not progressing very well. Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Strange things may flourish in the dark.
There's this place at the back of the church, a place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow.
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. I know. No.
She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning. Her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine.
Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. Great. Thanks. What?
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Yeah, like all the time. Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music. This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here. Take a guess, why don't you? I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you?
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Hello again.
Vic, true, hard, foot, hardcore! Yeah!
This young man adds a capital G before the H in his yeags and args. Or maybe it's not Gotvalian. Maybe it's Oranese. Probably an homage to Oranje, where Arno van Eyck.
You know about him?
You know Van Eyck? Wow!
The skinny wraith.
So am I! So am I!
Oh! Is that why the...
Eyck had to the Mega, the K became the G, the Y became the Advent?
The club, true, hard, full, it's hardcore! Skibadis.
Your cop training did not
The club, true, hard, full, hardcore! Hardcore to the Mega, here comes the night! The club, true, hardcore to internally coherent.
All car, all right!
Gotta get the people going! I'm the party boy. It's my job. Hardcore party 25...
There is a place far away in Katla, beyond a certain latitude, known as Winter's.
The club, true. Hardcore to the Mega, internally.
All car, all right!
Gotta get the people going.
Yeah.
The club, true. Hardcore to the Mega, internally coherent.
All car, all...
Gotta get the people going. I'm the party boy. Two on a track. The club, true. Hardcore to internally coherent.
All car...
He furrows his...
Hardcore!
The question is, what is the question? But there was no question.
The club, true. Hardcore, internally coherent.
All car...
Gotta get the people going.
Yeah.
The club, true. Hardcore to internally coherent.
All car...
He furrows his...
Hardcore!
The question is, what is... But there was a question?
The club, true. Hardcore, internally coherent.
All car, all right!
He furrows...
Is it though?
One mind. True. Hardcore, internally coherent.
All car...
He furrowed...
Is it though? But is it? I mean really? No, but seriously, I'm a bit worried it isn't.
Don't be alarmed. Everything is okay. He isn't actually worried. Everything is still super hardcore. What he probably means is, it could be even more so.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm still in love with the hard... Sometimes I just feel like anodic music is in its infancy, you know? For example, isn't something holding it back from being... It's like it's...
I think it's super hardcore.
If anything, it sounds a bit proto. Like it's not fully formed yet. You might be a moribund alcoholic and a failed cop, but you are pretty certain a thing cannot be both proto and hardcore.
We can all hear it's not hyper-hardcore. If figures of authority keep telling us things are hyper when they're clearly not, how are we ever supposed to evolve to hyperdom?
Uh-huh.
Fuck yeah!
He seems sure, but you are left with the nagging doubt you might have overestimated the hardcoreness.
No nation, but transnation. No war, but class war.
Don't be a lunatic. Of course he isn't. Jermaine here just yells random...
Yeah!
Unless you were thinking Revershaw imperative right now. That's fucked up, man. Lying like that. And a cop, too. He's not a communist. It's just something he likes to yell.
Yeah! With a rebel yell! I could be an ultra, if you want.
Please don't turn him into an...
Oh, jeez. Please don't do that. There's enough exploitation in the world.
Oh, sure. I can do that. If you want that.
Please don't turn him into a mole.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Aye! It's time to compromise. I'm swiftly moving toward a solution.
You feel Jermaine Egghead's smile is too enthusiastic. But
Hardcore!
Basically, yes it is.
Lungs are for love! Love! In a woman's lungs. Lungs are for love. When Dolores Day was anointed innocence, her lungs started...
why wouldn't they be? Are the lungs not the plate?
I think so. Rhymes that keep their secrets all right.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
And? What happened? Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church? No matter. Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we going to do about him? I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem.
Everyone is welcome.
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub? Come on, man. Who will you trust? A spooky programmer?
Feels alive!
A half-hearted sell of something which does not seem worth buying.
You'll get there, believe me. When we've got out anyway, now that it's settled, how did she seem? Come on, man.
Feels
A half...
You'll get there anyway. Now that it's...
What a pity. That's my favourite thing in the world.
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit...
Unity!
Look at you, Honour Man.
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church.
The lines in the...
At least Crabman seems like an...
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Nordic dance music?
Egghead cannot believe what you just said. It makes it...
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay. Excellent! Good luck, my friend. Goodbye.
Yes, what is it? The swallow, you mean? What about it? Great. Thanks. I don't want to make anything work. Yes, anything. I don't want to make anything work.
It's not the anodic dance music that's made her bitter.
That's right. If we couldn't get our Welkins to happen, I don't want anything to...
There's not a trace of irony in her voice. She means it. Hey, what makes the world?
Yes, what is it? I don't want to make any... Yes.
It's not the anodic.
That's right.
There's not a trace of irony in her voice. Easy. When her research is done, she...
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
She thinks about it. A glassy look in her eyes. A gust of wind.
All right. Bring me the game's off-site copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself. It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a filament memory. Just the backup itself is destroyed now. But I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact location of the anomaly.
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on site?
Oh God, not this again.
Basement? Sounds like...
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. There's nothing wrong with keeping the backup in the basement. We clear?
This is clearly a painful topic for her.
Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady. Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. In the giant ice bear fridge! I just...
But you've been to the fridge and it wasn't there. There was a note saying...
Wait. A note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory? Jawiza. Of course. Our project lead, Suliswov Jawiza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the copy somewhere, like it would have made a difference. The offsite copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. And the heads... I won't even get into the heads. Millions of them. Go find that copy from that ice cream maker, will you? Thanks.
Valley of 1,000 Heads. You like the sound of that.
The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse. Whatever that means. Because she's from Martinez, and people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil. No. She literally started praying for the higher powers when she first...
The lieutenant coughs like...
Once I came in one morning, only... Thanks. And here's my Qualsund multitool. You might need it to hack loose some ice.
It hurts a bit for her to say this. She's not too happy to...
Yes? Thanks.
Wait. Take a longer look at yourself and how you're... Metaphor. It's always metaphor. Exactly. The blood of... The engines of fortune once roared here. Great wealth poured into Revachol, the Delta. The engines stopped. The West Revacholian industrial base was dismantled after the war. Now, extinguished coke furnaces dot the landscape, a landscape despoiled by industry. Perhaps you could dedicate your life to cleaning it up, but you're a cop.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
A familiar apparatus lies among the reeds, another one of Morel's traps. Weighed down by the reeds bent, the constant, distant. This trap is also full of
Another empty trap. Always up for a good jog. Otherwise, would I still be on this case with you?
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air. An empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries, chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. The road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of a tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery number. Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands. This is the track that reads, the later it gets, the colder. Nothing but low.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done. No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
It takes you a moment. Behind you, the ruins of the trap feels light and silent. No locust, no phasmid either, but still.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap. Okay, but after that we get back to our own assignments. There really is no explanation for why we are taking such a detour at this...
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy?
Does he actually know you? Or is he just shopkeep friendly?
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirit. Sure, friend. You know it.
Don't mind old Rosemary here. He's a buffoon. Let's have a word after your high-concept transactions.
Aye, by amphetamine I mean speed. Sure did, buddy boy. That's why I said amphetamine. I mean speed. Aye, that's what I said. Good, my man. Now what can I... Oh, the system's been good to old Rosemary here, and I'm milking her like a bitch goat. You see, friend, man makes his own luck. And I made mine real good. Got my hands on 3, bought cigarettes, bought beer, even bought a bit of...
The hook. Where is it? I can't see it.
Of course, of course, See, friend, it's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. You know, it's funny, actually. What?
Keep him talking.
This guy. Oh, this is medicinal spirits. I got one of those scientific ampoules a few months ago. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. It really isn't. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all those arseholes. Those arseholes charged me £4 to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all. The idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I know what doctors use to preserve like 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila. What's left? 2 I already sold to these fine gentlemen here. But this last one is yours for 3 real, if you want it. Yeah, you thought right. Don't even try to sneak anything past old Rosemary here. I got all senses locked on you, buddy boy. Aye, that's what I said just now. 300 real. Don't you try to trick me, buddy boy.
You acted with great compassion and dignity, not taking advantage of this man. Praise thine honourable heart.
300 real and it's yours, as promised. Best shit around. Finally came to your senses, buddy boy. Ain't nobody else gonna give you a price like that. Sure, friend. A bottle of high-quality spirits coming right up. That'll be 3 real, and just make sure to enjoy that one, friend. In the sip.
Don't you call her? Yeah? Abigail.
You're not going to get anything out of this guy.
Don't call Abigail.
The man hiccups. Then he snorts and beckons you.
Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail.
There's no use in yelling at drunks.
The drunk man starts.
Don't you fucking call her! Hear me? Don't call.
There was little chance he'd be a reliable.
The legend! He's back. And first...
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. How's business? So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are the,
He says it like it's obviously your name. Like you call someone Billy Brunel or leader of good. These people know your true name. Looks like it has preceded you, Mr. Sunset. More on that later.
That's the spirit. I used to shape reality into my image. Long time. Sadly, things aren't going that well in Idiot Doom's Spiral Land. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back. No.
Idiot Doom Spiral, huh? This is bound to be a good, high-concept conversation.
We are saving... Please! Please! Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. So now, it's a pirate. It's you. We've met before.
No, you sure don't.
Maybe. You look like you want to know how...
Tequila. Tequila Sunset. Something ominous there.
Let me take a sip to moisten up my cords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday. And by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is you. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the buzz. Because as far as I know, all word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer. And that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself.
It is. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza. Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. Anyway, there was a brief silence. A gasp of silence, if you will. Followed by a real commotion. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcohol. What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage. The time! So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked what time. The time hath come for Tequila Sunset, the end of all things! After which, your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the... We ran towards the ice, whilst you crawled your way out. Miraculous. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to... We asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now, and insisted that we all call you that from then on. No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, how they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the...
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I bet Tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct. You must...
If you only knew.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked.
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked me.
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers.
It's more like you were cramped.
No specifics, though. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone...
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
It's not meant as a joke. He's sorry for the hermit cop.
Yeah, you said that you'd really behaved unreasonably and failed to uphold your responsibilities as a representative of the coalition. You kept apologizing for being such a bad cop. You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than it depends, really.
You might get scammed here.
No, the reality of the situation requires a rather modest contribution. Booze! Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Then I will see you again once you've procured some. Par exemple.
All kinds, sir. Beer and wine.
You too. Tequila Sunset.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice bottoms up, Captain.
Tequila. Of course. Drink first, story later. Not much, but it will do.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that? Oh.
Shut up, guy. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a culture. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. 22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. It did, with my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, but now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound.
His eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet. Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key. I wish I were, Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key to the... I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on.
Heavy is the head.
Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a... So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time.
Why didn't you go to the authority?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any idea on... I can't say it increased my faith in the RC. The hobo lifestyle definitely has some perks. Not having to pay rent, first and foremost. But that charm wears off pretty quickly. Before you know it, you're wearing a shit-stained tracksuit. Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this
You of all people should empathize with this. Perhaps this lost jacket is something you could help with?
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high concept. I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal...
If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
I know. It was fucking awesome. Too bad I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of doom that What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum.
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TN, to be associated with a number. And then there's the smell. But...
Wow, you're lucky.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them any time. My fellow members of the...
Hey! Tequila!
Shut the fuck up, Rose.
I thought he was a...
A gurgling sound comes from...
And yeah, you're... Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? Yeah, exactly. You're here to... If I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's... What? Pretty nice.
Good God. It's nearly randomized. And then...
Wow!
That's because your paws are I'm all ears, Tequila. Ah, Tequila. I knew you'd come through. That's fucking great, man. What's that supposed to mean? What's that got to do with my jacket? What do I care about some local stiff? Let me see. What? This isn't my jacket. My jacket was beautiful. This is fucking filthy. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm not taking a disgusting pile of hobo rags. I may be in an era. Either bring it back the way it was before, or find a dumpster to...
You know, despite the guano, it looks like the jacket itself is stain-resistant. It may just need a good scrubbing.
I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Cottonmouth is keep...
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes. Bottoms up, Captain.
Tequila sunset. Of course. Drink first, story later. Not much, but the tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What?
Are you telling the story?
Shut the fuck up. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see? A headless man, wearing a found tracksuit, rumored to be searching for his legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head. Yes. According to legend, young Gertrude Het had to endure years of psychotherapy before she... Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness...
Tell him about the...
Fuck, Rosemary. They were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone...
This wouldn't be the De Ponte delict.
What? You know it?
I've read the case file, but...
Right. Early autumn of 46. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackened. The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ulla turns...
Don't turn around.
When she sees something. Her shriek is so violent that the residents of the... But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the head... Ulla makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold... Her body is never recovered.
Naturally, Ulla De Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless found rider, and that during the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty, and De Ponte... No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. Not a pretty...
Man, that's some grisly detail. Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Pretty crazy, huh? Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang.
Oh, headless brother.
Others claim... Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree and the fall... Coincident...
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
That would explain the tracksuit and his need for revenge. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
Hard to argue, is it?
That's the reality situation for you. You think... Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that. I have to admit, that's pretty high concept. Still not as awesome as a headless rider. Yeah? Acid gnomes? Sounds like a stupid, low-concept Yeah? Giants? That the best you got? Yeah? Damn right it doesn't. So why don't you just shut up and leave it to the master?
Hard to argue.
That's the reality situation for you. No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to...
He won't, though. Because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
I actually do have one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice. If you find any,
It's getting cold, this late in the night.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in...
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer? Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
Oh yes, she does. You need to get... Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? I'm afraid...
We should try again during...
Anything else, Detective? One moment. Can you please describe the body?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell.
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary. What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library? Good. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else? I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. 57.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the... this coin-operated viewer.
Hi, gendarme. Another rendezvous. Hello, hello. So what brings you here? Admiring the atmosphere. What about you, officer? Really? Well, I look forward to that. Oh yes, let's see. He knocked on my door a few days after the lynching. I think he was going through the entire building. Asked nothing. That I didn't see anything. Why shouldn't he? What friend? No, I don't think it came up. Muscular, handsome, strong, like one of those military types. Yes, but he was speaking to someone on his earpiece. Yes, you know those tiny speaker microphones that fit, just reporting back whatever I was telling him. Oh, let me think. He had an accent. He sounded like one of the... He sounded vaguely Oranese. No, not vaguely, scratch that. He sounded... Sure. Anything else on your mind? You did? And how did you like him? I told you, he can be very useful. I guess that's the charm of powerful people. A visitor from the first world. He's not like you and me, gendarme. He can always return to his opportunities in Occident, sur la clé. Still. Or is it just money? I don't know. Friends, I told you. Sunday friends. Friends who like to get together from time to time. That he won't be there when times get tough, I guess. It is. On Sundays. He has keys. And he likes the view. To the sea, I mean. Hmm? What about me, gendarme? Bye-bye, gendarme.
Can I help you? What is this thing? Okay. Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people...
It's not actually about that.
Hi again, gendarme.
Could he be a member of the homosexual underground? Just pointing it out. We're not talking about...
The homosexual underground? Why, yes I am, officer. Why? Do you want to investigate? Oh, it's a pleasure group. A sub rosa pleasure group congregating in cellars under the cover of night. Saturday night, Sometimes even Friday night. Or Thursday night. Sometimes the congregating doesn't even end. It carries on into our daily life. Oh, we're ambitious. We want to destroy the last vestiges of meaning, the last things people in Rebishul have to hold on to, the true symbols of security. Everything will be constantly shifting and moving under our rule. The future will belong to a circus of identities just spinning around, surreal and unreal. You won't even know who you are anymore. But do you also like the razzle-dazzle of gold? Do you like parties and discos and having fun? Because instead of the traditional family unit, we're going to have all this razzmatazz. And mysteries, of course, too. Mysteries of sexual nature, very esoteric. And disco music and drugs. You can't just get into it. You have to be born into it. One is either already in the homosexual movement or forever excluded from it. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. Who knows, maybe you were homosexual in the past. Maybe all of that has been repressed. I have to say that you do look like someone who might be part of the underground. You have that very distinctive, I can't understand what's going on here look. Do think about it, officer. Absolutely wonderful.
A man like you can figure out his sexuality in a working day.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Truly a lot of legwork. My partner...
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie. Mexican origin. The pin is...
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some...
Ramblings. Nonsense.
But, darling,
Measuring things is...
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notable.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother...
She'd just started forming memories. Real memories. Not the billowy...
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like... I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it.
Where did you go?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insel Indian...
It did, yes. Like reeds and...
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
Our first, yes.
The glance is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't explain.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige.
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I...
What if it is the case?
How could she? Who imagines this? She didn't know about the phasmid. This is the main...
So she couldn't have made it up.
That's true, yes. I'm almost certain neither my mother nor my grandmother knew of it. It was only you trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian Fest.
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
But I don't believe it. A child left unattended on a warm day.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate...
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on a...
I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you as enthusiastic.
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is itching for some...
Good. Okay. And completely empty?
No locusts?
That's not ideal, but...
It just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more...
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called...
Of course, more clever.
Yes. The Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to
Another trip to the reeds.
I appreciate your concern, officer. But actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now.
Heartfelt gratitude.
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here.
Helping cryptozoologists isn't really a priority for our... Damn it, Lieutenant. Have you no intellectual curiosity?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him.
Thanks.
He's still glad his friend stood up.
Hello. Lena and I were just in...
Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed. As though shaken. You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno.
A little hooligan.
Oh, my dear Morel. You've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment...
Delinquents. My favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please, let us know whatever...
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty. But no more...
After this is your last chance to talk to Gary.
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere.
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave any... Morel, it's been fun. Really. But I need a bath, and I have to...
No need to apologize, Gary. You'd be more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that.
He keeps the language unemotional. The first man to break formation is always a...
Always a pleasure to see an officer. I mean, officers.
I've got nothing to say to you.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad? Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything. No.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
Shut up.
Now they're gonna take you to...
She sounds like she's about to cry, out of disappointment at Kuno's newfound lameness.
Deny everything, Kuno.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer.
Lame. That rings some bells. Could this be connected to Night City? AKA, the City of Rage.
Oh god, Kuno, no! It's gonna happen now!
Stop it, see? No one's gonna make...
There's definitely something going on here. You should check out Kuno's shack, the one with the pig's head.
Kuno doesn't...
Fairweather, tea.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Stay away from me, pig!
All around you, the hisses and chirps of locusts, like skyscrapers, spires of dirt.
Well, detective, it appears you've solved the case of the locusts. For the missing locust case, which is a sub-case of the imaginary insect case. So at least that's going well. Oh, I'm not being sarcastic.
When someone says they're not being sarcastic, it's usually a good sign that they're being very sarcastic.
If anything, the presence of the locust points to the opposite, the phasm. But what do I know?
Use your powers of deduction.
I'll let you handle the Kuno side of things.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad? Yeah. Kuno took the books.
So it wasn't a phasmid. A wave of disappointment washes over you.
Yeah, well, Kuno's... It's not Bugtown. It's the city of locusts. Locusts aren't just bug shit. They could...
Stop!
Locusts coming down like a shadow.
Yeah, Locust City.
There's a tug of war over the name of his fantastical city. The girl forces herself to watch again. The corners of her eyes.
Kuno, the pig wants to help you. Oh, that's how lame it is. Please just...
An artist? Maybe I am an artist. You hear that, everyone?
Did he just say I? Kuno usually calls Kuno, Kuno.
Oh my god, Kuno! He's gonna make you totally lame.
Yo, fuck you, see? Kuno can be what Kuno wants to be. Kuno's his own man. Kuno's free. Kuno made himself into Kuno. Kuno can make himself into anything. Kuno can make himself into a pig if he wants. Kuno can make himself into a... Kuno doesn't give a sh...
Don't make yourself into a pig, Kuno. You'll have to take me away. I don't believe you.
For once, the boy is lost for words. He turns use this momentary confusion. You've got him. Now convince him to leave the cryptozoologist's traps alone.
I don't give a shit. I don't need the locusts anyway.
The girl's face appears again, above the fence. She doesn't know whether to be glad because Kuno's finally convinced of the lameness.
It don't mean anything. It's shit. Kuno just likes to focus. Pig, you really shouldn't have fucked with Kuno City. Now it's all fucked. Kuno's gonna let the fucking locusts die. The fuck are they trying to catch anyway? With the traps?
He recognizes the name.
Bitches think Kuno doesn't know shit. The fuck out of here. Kuno's tired of this shit.
There's silence between the two children. They're not saying anything. Why does art inspire you so much? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined. Have you looked in the mirror lately? You have the exact features of a savage art critic, with that beard and those clothes, disheveled and prophetic. Perhaps you should try to critique architecture too. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real, living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop. Quit being so indecisive. What are you going for here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street. You must all go ahead and provide.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Hello, officer. I think... So it was just a child.
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can try again.
She acts chipper, but something's...
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap.
He has a 38-degree...
Darling, I told you to take it easy.
You're right, you're right. We can come back.
There won't be a next season. Not for this. Find a phasmid or admit defeat, people.
You can? Fine. It's better than having these people get pneumonia on the coast. But after this...
He wants to see this tale through, as much as you. Otherwise, he'd have stopped this already. But...
Really? It's too much, officer.
What Morel means is we're grateful.
Here's a fresh batch of locust. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery.
This would show them all. We need to get you on that list of discoverers. No question.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now. You're 100% sure you got special hobo cop money for that tear. At least... The tear machine stands in the corner.
Is this about the questions again?
Yes?
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with... This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has... Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. Like stir... It's all gone now. You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the...
Didn't Sona give you a perfect tool for this kind of job? The Kvalson.
Equip the multi-tool by...
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
Yes?
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has... This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has